Well, welcome back to my test videos. For those of you that have seen my videos online, I thank you for your input. Those people that just hit dislike doesn't help me any. I can't learn anything if you just hit dislike. Please leave a comment, even if it's negative, because I'm trying to learn, trying to get a better product for anybody that's watching. For those of you that left me some comments, thank you very much. I've tried to incorporate some of those and hopefully make a little bit better video tonight than I've been able to make in the past couple of tries. So first thing I did is I lost the air helmet. I'm now just using a regular face mask. Some people said that the noise in the background was interfering and annoying and all those kinds of things. So I got rid of that. I do have a dust collection system running in my shop. I'm not running the actual dust collector, but I also have a filter system. That, unfortunately, when I turn the power on for the lathe, it goes on automatically. It's part of the system. I also have a compressor, which you just hear kick in. It'll kick in every once in a while. I could turn that off. That would probably be a smart thing to do, but I need the air every once in a while, so we're just going to leave that. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to turn the outside of a bowl and record that. So I'll kind of go through the steps that I use to turn a bowl. I also have some setup now. Camera's a little bit different. I got some zooming going on the cameras and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we can come up with here. Hopefully the light's a little better too. So overall, I've worked on the sound, the lighting, and the camera positions. So hopefully an improvement. So first thing I do, this is a bowl that's been turned when it was wet, put up to dry and shavings. It's been sitting around probably for a couple of years now. Looks like I waited at one point in time on 219. And then I probably waited again after that, and it was the same weight as it was on 219, so I decided to take it out of the bag and let it sit. So anyhow, this is dry. It's white oak. Came off the raffle table from my club, and we're going to start with that. Typically, when I return, there's a lot of different ways to do this. For smaller bowls like this, I just jam it up against a chuck. This is my 70 millimeter chuck, which has got a lot of different openings in it. I may open it up just a little bit here so I get a few more teeth biting into the bowl, but it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to put it up against there, and I'm going to push it up with the tailstock. On the tailstock, let's see, if I change cameras, you can see some of this stuff better. So let's go to, okay, that's the overhead view. You can see the chuck, and that's where the bowl's going to go. And this is the tailstock view. And hopefully on the tailstock view, you can see all of this. We'll back that out a little bit. There we go. It's fully backed out. So now you can see that I have a hole in the back. I drilled that when I first turned it. While it was still in the chuck, I have a little thing I'll show you in another video. Drill a hole in the back. That registers against this pin that's in my tailstock center. I can push that up against there. So that bowl is relatively in the same position it was before it dried. Now, of course, it is warped, and then that's what happens when it dries. But at least that's pretty close to the center. It gives me a good start. Hopefully the bowl is close enough to center that it won't be too far off. Bye-bye black background. Okay, so I think I can do all my turning here with the tailstock camera going. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and I'll readjust it just a little bit so you can see my cutting, and we'll go from there. Grab tool rest. Speed-wise, we're going to start off at a lower speed since it's at around, but not real low, probably still close to 1,000. Everything's tight. We're ready to go. I got tool. One thing I want to do, I want to show you this little trick. You take a pencil and you put it on one of these types of tailstocks, rolling tailstocks, and you draw that circle. That's pretty close to a 50 millimeter. So if you cut down on that, it'll clamp up good on a 50 millimeter. Now I'm using a 70 millimeter, so I'm going to go about 10 millimeters or little less than a ½ inch outside of that for my tenon. But we're going to create a new tenon on this. We're going to smooth the sides back out, and then that'll kind of be the turn of the outside. I can sand that up, and I'll put some finish on that, usually a sanding sealer on that before I turn it around. Okay, so let's go here. That's about 800. I'm using a 1/2-inch gouge, which is plenty for this. So hopefully that's good size. And a skew chisel. A little dovetail on that. Now I got my tenon, and I can start working on the bowl. Okay, so I'm in a fairly good cut. You can see that for the overhead view and see if it shows up a little bit better. No, I don't think you can see anything better on the overhead view. Now let's just for fun zoom in. Oh, there you can see. I might even be able to go in a little more. I don't know how clear that'll be. But again, this is part of the learning process. Zooming is something I figured out today. But you can see the nice oak grain in that. Wide open. So when you sand it, you're going to have to blow it out, which is why I need the compressor. So anyhow, I will back out a little bit and finish going around this. So the last cut I made was to establish the rim. I got a complete rim now, all the way around. Cut it back enough. So now I know the outside diameter of the bowl at the top and the bottom, and now I just want to get a nice blend. So here's the overhead view. I'm going to try to create a nice, smooth, round surface. The foot, I want the foot to kind of end up looking like it's just going through the bottom of the bowl. There's going to be a foot, the foot will be in here somewhere that I use, but I want the bowl to have a nice round surface all the way around. So I'm going to take this down a little bit more, and then from there, start to finesse the shape. You hear how dry the wood is. So, let's work on the shape here. There's a little bit of a bump there, a little bit of a bump here. I'm going to be looking on this side when my tool's working on this side. While I'm finessing, I'm looking past the turning to the far side of the hole. I'm getting a little bouncing going around this side. That's because we're getting that end grain. It's more of a shear scrape cut here I'm using to do this final refining. Get it smooth. So the objective is to get it so there's no lumps through here. It's pretty good. So we have some tear out. How it's looking. Yeah, see the tear out? I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. I can try to zoom in a little on that and see what happens. You guys see that tear out there? That's pretty bad. So I don't think I have enough contrast here that you can see that. But there's a good bit of tear out right through here. Again, the end grains. Oak is known for that. So we're going to try a couple of techniques to see if we can get rid of that. First, I'm going to try a sharp tool and a shear scrape. See if that improves it. And then the next thing I'll try is I have some other tools that I've used over the years that sometimes work. And the best thing that I've found, some people call it tear out eraser, but it's just to spray it down with a little bit of water and soften it up. So we'll try a couple of techniques like that and see what we can come up with. All right, so I'm going to zoom back out a little. You don't need to see it that close. And let's see what happens here. See what I can get out of here. Start with a sharp tool and a little water. And since it's now balanced real well, we're even going to go a little faster. Let's see what this does for us. So, that's greatly improved from where we were before. Still got some right here on the end grain, but much better. I can almost accept that. I don't like sanding, but sometimes on these open grain woods, it's all the choice you have. But we'll try a little bit better, a little more. I'm sure there's some professional turners out there that say go sharpen your tool again, but I'm not going to go that far. It's almost gone. I like to keep trying techniques to see if I can get it better, because really don't like sanding. I have a special tool in here. Okay, so the tool I'm going to try next, see if I can get it where you guys can see it. So it's basically a skew that I ground round on the end, like a scraper. I'm going to set it shear angle. Again, I'm going to wet the wood down a little bit more, and then I'm going to run it around at that shear angle like this. And hopefully you can see that. See the shape? not quite straight across. It's a little rounded. See that? There we go. So let's see what we can do with that. That almost completely eliminated it. There's a little bit more right there. Okay, I'm going to sharpen this up. Well, I'm not going to sharpen it up. I'm going to turn a burr on it. So I'm just rubbing a burr. Got a Veritas tool, and just allows me to rub burr. I'm going to start all the way down here and try to get a good smooth surface all the way up. See those nice fine shavings. Gone. Almost. I mean, it's so close. It's easily sandable at this point. So that was well worth regrinding an old skew to get a good smooth surface there. All right, so now I have the outside shape done. I like the way the bottom's coming. I think I'm going to take a little bit out off right here because I want to flatten it out a little bit more at the bottom. It's kind of getting too steep. I want it rounded just a little bit more, and then I'll be done. Okay, so that's the outside. I'm going to sand it now. Keep the video running, but I'll edit it down so you don't have that entire process because that takes a little while. Also, I'm going to turn on the dust collector because I'm tired of breathing all this dust. So we'll go from there. So I'm going to take this off for safety. I'm going to slow it all down, and I'll put it back onto the tailstock cam, and I'm going to sand away. I'm going to start with heavier paper than I did before because of that tear out. I want to make sure I get it all out. So I'm going to start with an 80 grit and go from there. See you all on the other side. Well, I'm up to 320. In pretty good shape. Pretty dusty. I'm going to make a little noise here and blow out the grain. Very open grain wood. Like to blow it out. All right. You're on the tailstock view here, so you can see pretty well. I don't know if I zoomed in, if that would show anything or not, but that's zoomed way in. See that grain? Well, you can see a nicely sanded surface. Little character in the wood. You got some black splotches in it and things. Not used to all these smells. The air helmet on that I normally have. I don't smell the dust. I don't smell the lacquer thinner. 50-50 mix, Deft sanding sealer and lacquer thinner. A little bit potent, but works out okay. So I let that dry about 5 minutes. I'll come back and sand. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to go take those tools that I just used, dulled. I'm going to go sharpen them. That's going to be a good thing to do while it's drying. Okay, I've got everything running again. I'll come back here and do a little bit more sanding. Let's see what view looks best for this. I'm going to sand now. The finish is pretty dry. So I'm going to sand that back. Go 320 again, and then I'll go 400. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I've been switching the lathe direction each time. Nice advantage of having the lathes that are reversible. You can sand in both directions. It helps pick up some of the grain. So I'm going to turn the vac back on and make a lot of noise. I'll put this in fast forward anyhow. So. All right, it's sanded up through 400. I'm going to put another coat of sanding sealer on it. Not sure exactly how I'm going to finish this bowl, but it'll be ready to go right into finishing if I finish it. If I decide to do something different, it'll be all right. I could sand it a little bit if I decide to dye it, but I don't think I'm going to dye this bowl. I might torch it, turn it black, but I don't think I'll be dyeing it. So I think we're good at this point. We'll get it sealed up with the sanding sealer, and that way when I do put a finish on, if I just put a clear finish on it, then that will give me a good base to work with. And it also protects it if I do anything else to it. Kind of protects the wood a little bit. If I'm working on the inside or whatever, if I splash on the outside, I can usually wipe it off. So anyhow, we're done. Just turn the outside of the bowl. So this is all centered up because we turned it around, so it'll be all good. I should be able to take this off, turn it around on that tenon, and if I didn't make it too small, which I think I might have done, I can put it in the 50s. Otherwise, now it's close. So now I can just turn that around, and away we go. And we'll work on making the inside on the next video. All right. Have a good evening.